because we are sure that we're going to give the same level of service, but it won't be the same service. Just because of the fact that you can't, for example, if we know that someone's staying with us and we know they're celebrating a birthday or an anniversary, we always make sure to put a little surprise in the room. We won't be able to do the same quirky things that we were known for, because of you don't want to touch things that you're bringing to a guest. So we'll have to change our way of thinking, and this is what I meant before. We're so used to just thinking outside the box and being happy for a guest and doing things accordingly. And now, not that you're not allowed to be happy, but you have to think of precautions to make sure that your happiness doesn't turn into a health hazard. So it's going to be way different, but it'll be the same level because we still care as much as we did before.
Do you think it's going to be hard to make your staff adapt to these changes as well?
I think it's going to be hard for all of us. I mean, we work in this business because we love it so much, and it's going to be completely different for a long time.
True.
But all of us are still happy, and we'll find our way and we'll make it work.
That's really good to hear. And then it's not only you in this situation, it's pretty much everyone in the same situation.
Exactly.
Well, moving back to attracting guests to your hotel. When you guys open back up and the market starts picking up again and you start getting more reservations, how do you imagine the check-in procedure changing? And how are you going to assure to your guests that the safety at the hotel with all the health measurements and guidelines will be fulfilled?
We've been working on a reopening plan for the last few weeks to just ensure that we've touched every, no pun intended, we've touched every surface and made sure that we thought of all the details. So we have all the safety precautions in place that we can think of. For example, screens at the reception desk, the cleaning of the desk surface and the payment machines after every guest has come to the reception. So yeah, we've been working on all the details and have gone through the whole guest journey to see in which areas we need to adjust. It all also depends on what's going to happen in the rest of the world. That will influence which guests and how many guests will travel. I mean, a few weeks or months ago, no, it hasn't been months, been weeks, the travel from Asia started picking back up. But after recent events there, no one knows how that's going to be influenced now. So unfortunately, we'll all have to keep reassessing as the world changes.
Is there something that you're currently doing in your hotel which you could share as, let's say, a creative offering you're doing in times of Corona? Something new that has come up that you could share, a favorite one or a couple of them?
Well, there are a couple of ideas which come into my mind, which were implemented quite recently. One of them is that digital registration form, where we do send registration cards over to guests before they check in, and at the same time we inform them about current regulations in Germany or in Bavaria. And it's great because it helps the receptionist, obviously, to focus on the guest interaction as such, and not on that completion of that registration form. We've also thought about ways when to really interact with guests, because we understand that guests are not interested of interacting upon check-in or check-out, simply because of hygienic regulations and because of that mask. I mean, obviously it avoids that, or it kind of hinders that emotional connection if half of your face is covered. So what obviously has been done is that we are now checking in guests whilst we sit, because obviously if you do sit down in a restaurant and you have got one family, you can add one more household to the table. So it is our receptionist who can then remove the mask and then obviously do that check-in whilst seating. And we do the same approach when obviously our guest relation team speaks to guests. We do that during breakfast. because then obviously our guests are sitting at a table and we can just join them and find out how they like their stay and what feedback they have, instead of doing that in a lobby or behind a glass counter with your mask on.